Should I do an introduction here?
Yeah, honestly, yeah, sure. Go for it.
Hey, my name is Cole Hallman. I am the person that's going to be speaking on this podcast. I got my guitar here, and I'm going to play a song of mine called Wasting. Thanks for listening. Here we go. I've been wasting all of my time thinking of ways to have you stick around in my life, but I can't pretend that I'm okay just being friends. I think it's better I stay away. Better off without me, baby. It's always been that way. And all the ways that you seem to change me, there's just so much to say. A little note inside my pocket. Who knew love could be so toxic? You can't change yesterday, but you try to anyway. I'll keep moving, at least I hope so. Life gets lonely, but you gotta learn to be alone. I hope I can come back one day and just be your friend and laugh at the mess I made. You're better off without me, baby. It's always been that way. And all the ways that you seem to change me, there's just so much to say. A little note inside my pocket. Who knew love could be so toxic? You can't change yesterday, but you try to anyway.
Welcome, friends and family, to the Local Acts Only podcast. We are here with Cole Hallman, Joe Esposito, and the one and only Jack Yates.
Howdy.
How we doing, Cole?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
Wait, should we have Cole explain what he does and who he is for anybody who doesn't know who Cole? Like I use what? It's just a little introduction before we get.
All right, yeah. I'm Cole. I'm from Manasquan, New Jersey. I write songs. I play guitar, and I sing. And yeah, that's what I do musically.
Awesome.
Also a surfer, correct?
Yeah, I surf. That's a big thing in my life.
So, you want to talk a little bit about like your process, like when you write, or
Yeah, well,
you kind of put all the cards on the table, really?
it's always a little. Well, first off, like lyrics are pretty important to me. Like, I go through phases where sometimes I listen to stuff that's like lyrically heavy or lyrically important, and then other times I'll listen to stuff that's like more like musically important, like, oh, I think this sounds cool. But as far as like why I got into music, lyrics were like a big important thing. Like I love writing and I love like wordplay and stuff like that. But as far as my process goes, like it's kind of different every time. Like you know, sometimes, but a lot of times it's just me sitting with my guitar and I'm just strumming like I'll just start playing something and then I just start like babbling gibberish over it, and like I don't really know what it means, but sometimes I'll record it maybe and then I'll listen back to it and I'm like, oh, I think this is what I said here, and then like, oh, maybe that meant something, or you know, or sometimes like I'm like working or like doing something. Like I used to work this tent job where we would put up tents. It was a fun job, not really, but and I would just like have music in my ears all day, and I would think of like other lyrics, and then I would just write it down on my phone. I don't usually, it's not too often where I sit down and I'm like, I'm gonna write a song. It's usually me just like strumming on my guitar. It kind of happens accidentally, I feel like, you know?
This is a spur of the moment kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You can like kind of tell that in the music too, because it's very like present, like in the.
Yeah, I hope so.
I noticed that you like to experiment a lot, and like from what I've listened to, and you mentioned it before, you like to experiment with sound, or like focus sometimes on just like what sounds good and noise. And I noticed that on the song, oh man, what is it? It was at the very last song, that demo of clearly cloudy.
Oh yeah. Oh, Small Talk.
Small Talk, yes.
Yeah.
It was very like jazzy and bluesy and stuff, and it had a lot of kind of like flange or kind of guitar, and like you had a really cool thing going on with your voice. It was very like, I wasn't expecting it. It was very creative. I thought it was really dope.
That was like, I didn't even know what I was. I mean, I still like listening to that stuff, but it's fun going back and listening to what you made. But I had no idea what I was doing. Like I was on GarageBand, just like, I think I put like auto-tune on my voice, like over like a blues progression. And I was just like, this sounds kind of funny. Like, and I had like a drum sample going, and yeah, I love like listening to different things. Like I have so many different things I like to listen to. Yeah.
Do you happen to have a lot of like hip hop or rap influence as someone who loves lyrics?
Yeah, I really, well, like, I go through phases of, like, different people, you know? So, right now, I've kind of had, like, a Mac Miller kick. But, like, when I was younger, I listened to a lot of, like, you know, Biggie Smalls, like, a lot of, like, 90s kind of hip-hop stuff, like Tribe Called Quest.
Oh, hell
and,
yeah.
Like, Wu-Tang and Nas and Big L. Like, I just thought it sounded cool, you know?
Yeah.
And like lyrically, the wordplay was always really cool. But all, like as far as like lyrics go, one of my first influences was Jack Johnson, and he like, I don't know, if you really listen to, like, he's kind of just like a folky soft rock guy, but if you really listen to his stuff, it's percussive. And like, if you listen to some of his interviews and stuff, he's like, oh yeah, I like Tribe Called Quest and all that stuff. Like you know, cause he's like lyrically and, like lyrically sophisticated, and also like puts a lot of emphasis on percussion, stuff like that. I don't know that, I don't think that's what I do really, but I appreciate that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Definitely hear the influence a little bit in your music.
Yeah, well, a lot of it started like just being a surfer and like finding out that Jack Johnson was a surfer, and I was like, whoa, it's so cool. Like, yeah.
I also noticed that when I was not watching, I'm all over the place tonight. Till It's Gone reminded me of something that Kevin Abstract would write.
I never heard of him.
Kevin Abstract. He's he's kind of the frontman for Brockhampton.
Oh, I've heard of that name. Somebody told me once that song reminded them of Post Malone a little bit, like kind of the phaser effect on the voice.
Yeah.
But honestly, like all that stuff, that experimental kind of stuff that I've done in the past, had a lot to do with like I was never really like, yeah, now I sing, but I was never like, I want to be a singer. It first started with like, oh, I want to play guitar. Then it was like, oh, I want to write songs. And then once I wrote songs, I was like, well, somebody has to sing these. So like a lot of that early stuff, I was like, man, my voice doesn't sound too good right now. Let me just throw like a little bit of auto-tune over it. Like my recent stuff, I don't use that stuff, but looking like I used to look back on it like, man, I wish I didn't use that stuff. But now I look back on it, I'm like, oh, it's kind of cool. It's like a stylistic choice. It doesn't just have to be like a crutch, you know?
Yeah.
We talked about that with was it Damien? Sean and Damien. And
Yeah.
it was about like he said the first thing that he put out was just like so much auto tune.
Yeah.
He just liked the way that it sounded. And we talked about like T-Pain using auto tune too. Like how he
Dude,
just
and he's a
likes
great.
the sound.
That's what it made me realize that stuff. Like I saw his Tiny Desk, and he's a great
Yeah,
singer. And the
that's
fact that he uses auto tune, it's like, oh, it's a stylistic choice, you know. Same with Post Malone. Like I've gotten into him recently, and I'm like, man, he's a good singer. So actually, recently, like a week ago, this kid I know has a studio, and he produces a lot of rappers and like pop music and stuff. And he's making a collaboration tape. And I went on and I sung like a hook for like a rap pop song kind of thing, like trying to do like Post Malone style. And it's got like a bunch of auto tune on it and stuff. But you know, it was like purposeful. It was like I wanted to be that style. It's nice to like be like I want it to be this way, not like it has to be this way. You know?
Yeah. Is that released?
No, not yet.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, something to look
Waiting
forward
for
to.
that,
Is there
yeah.
a release
I think
date?
I'm gonna put it under a fake name though. Like,
Like
because
a moniker.
yeah, like a rap, not like it's not rap, but like, you know, Post Malone, that's not his actual name.
Yeah.
So, cause, yeah, I don't know. I kind of don't really want it with all my other stuff because I don't want people expecting me to make that kind of stuff
Yeah.
all the time.
Of course.
But because it's fun to do, but it didn't feel like true to who I am. It wasn't like I'm expressing myself. It was just like, oh, like this is just fun, you know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of the main things that I wanted to talk about within songwriting was a couple of the songs off Priceless Junk. Do you first want to talk a little bit about that title, like what it means to you of the album? Because I love it so much.
Yeah, well, my first album, I actually took album pictures before Clearly Cloudy. I took the pictures before even having a name or even knowing that I was going to drop an album. I was just like, you know, it would be cool to have some pictures, like if I ever wanted to drop something. So my roommate was a photographer, and he like took some pictures, and then I did that color scheme thing where like you can only see the clouds in the sunglasses. So the thought like Clearly Cloudy came to my mind, and that's like an oxymoron because, you know, clear and cloud are kind of opposites. And then it's the CC thing, so I liked how it sounded. And then I was like, oh, it'd be kind of cool if I like kept doing that with like album names, like the whole oxymoron thing, like the opposites. So I would just write down a bunch of oxymorons, and then a lot of them I was like, man, this is dumb. I should do something different, you know, not just oxymorons. But then for some reason, when I wrote down Priceless Junk, I was just like, I like how that sounds. I don't know. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's great. I love it because, like, I mean, that's almost what, like, to me, the music that I make is. Like, when I'm just fucking around, like, doing something, it's like, this is worthless to, like, everyone, but to me, it's, like, priceless. This is my priceless junk.
Yeah, man, I agree. And, like,
Not that it's worthless.
No, but
Very worthwhile to me. I enjoy it very much.
yeah, and like, you know, I'm still insecure about the music I make. I'm always like, man, this sucks. You know, like I think every musician does that, but like, especially in the beginning. So it's nice looking, like I like that title because like, you know, it is true. Like you do like doubt yourself in certain ways, but like, you know, making music is such like a great thing, and it is priceless, but it's also junk.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it. So to start out, I want to start with I'm Always Wrong, one of my personal favorites. And I just wanted to read like a little bit of the lyrics. It's the way it goes, can't control what unfolds. It ain't too late to trust your fate. What I thought was destiny. Wait, what is it?
Oh, it's what I thought was destiny.
Was the best damn thing that never happened to me.
Yeah.
The past is gone. I'm always wrong.
Yeah.
Like, where were you when you were writing that, like, mentally?
Well, mentally I was like fresh out of a like breakup, I guess, and I was just like but like for the first time I was actually like I felt good about it, you know? Like it wasn't like a first breakup kind of thing. It was more of like a it felt good kind of to be like, it was sad, but it felt good. It had both ends to it.
Yeah, 'cause, like, knew you grew from it.
Yeah, exactly. So like, but I remember writing that lyric. I was working that tent job, and I actually went to the process for that song was I just had that guitar lick, and I had that thing, and I went to the studio, recorded it with Pat, no lyrics, nothing, and I would just play it in my ears for like a week, like working. And then that lyric just like came to mind, not like intentionally. I was like putting a 10 up or something, and I wrote it down in my notes. Yeah, and then the rest of the song was kind of based around that first thing, like what I thought was destiny, you know, yeah. And then the I'm always wrong, like the name of the song is, you know, it's another like self-deprecating kind of thing, like the whole priceless junk thing. It kind of ties into that, so I felt like it fit.
At the same time, like I love it so much because it's like you recognize, like it's to me almost the way I take it is kind of about growth a little bit too.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Was not the intention, I mean.
Yeah. It's definitely something that's talked a lot about in music, you know? It's pretty like in all honesty, it is pretty cliche. Like
Yeah,
the whole like
yeah.
like
I mean, you could say that about
every song.
basically every
Yeah.
song, you know.
But I like the way it was worded at the time, like when I wrote it. Like yeah, and I think I even like the lyric after that even better, the uh like better left off as a mystery. I wrote this a while ago, but I like that.
All the things I can't foresee are better left off a mystery.
Yeah.
Those that come with highs are just blessings in disguise.
Yeah, that's so cliche, but I also liked it.
I mean, dude,
I
it's
like
one
the
of my
wording,
favorite
though.
songs, so you did something right.
Man, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as somebody likes it.
I find it interesting. We talked about this before on the podcast a while ago. The relationship between like a musician and the music work, or like creating music, and then the day job, like the way you work like all the time. So like you said, when you're working that tent job, it seems like you've had a lot of your creative like spurs there, and or at least from what it seems to me, at least you had like a few. Do you think like doing things that aren't related to music, like working a tent job or even just like surfing or hiking, like it helps you have like
Yeah,
a more
man.
like serene or like well focused, a sharpened peace of mind to help you musically?
Yeah, man, 100%. I mean, like, I forget where I was listening to this or who even said it, honestly, but somebody was, it might have been like an interview of a musician or something. I feel like it, I don't even want to say because I'm going to get it wrong, but I remember the message being like, you know, if you're trying to write music 24/7, like, it's not going to work because like your music, your expression is supposed to be like an outlet for your life. Like you have to live, you have to like, you know, your music's supposed to be a representation of like your family or your breakup or what, you know, whatever's going on in your life. And if all you're doing is trying to write music, then like you don't have anything to write about anymore. You know what I mean? Or at least like anything to write about that's present. It's good to like sometimes like lock yourself in a room for like a couple days and try to write, but like you have to have those day jobs or you have to have like those everyday activities to like it's a creative spark.
Having anything to write about.
Yeah.
Right.
Not even just having stuff to write about, but being in that day job, you're just like, man, I want to get out of here. Like, and your mind is elsewhere. You're like, what can I do to make the time go by? So you just start like creating stuff, words or melodies or, you know, yeah.
For sure. I love that. So my other favorite song is Katie. Do you want to talk a little bit about her before I go into the song?
Yeah. So my sister Katie has special needs, and she like, I feel like she's raised me in a lot of ways, you know, like she means like so much to me. She's my little sister. And I guess the song is just about, I go to college in Hawaii, so it's about as far as you can go.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just felt like, in a lot of ways, I felt when I was younger, I felt like I was never gonna leave home, and then all of a sudden, I ended up in Hawaii, and I felt guilty in some ways for like not being there. But like, it's obvious. Like she's happy, I'm happy. Like it's not like she like can't go on without me. Like it's not
Yeah.
like that. But like it was just like a little like appreciation song for her, and also like feeling a little guilty for like leaving her.
Was
You know?
that hard for a while, like being in Hawaii, like that feeling of guilt, or did you get past that quickly?
Yeah, I think the first year was hard, but like it's still hard. Like I feel like I'm almost in denial about it sometimes. Like because I'm in my last year there now. I'm a senior, and I like we still talk a lot and stuff. Like I'll FaceTime her and stuff, but she's not very good with FaceTime. But when I come home, I'm like, oh man, like this is such a big part of my life, like being her brother, and just family in general is such a big part of my life. Like I have tons of cousins and stuff, so when I come, it's almost like I forget about it now a little bit. Like, but I'm actually planning on like moving back here in May after I graduate. So I feel like it was a good thing though to like move away and experience life like without family and without, like having always, to tend like to her in certain ways and stuff. But like, I love her, and I can't wait to come back, and
Yeah.
yeah.
One of the things that like I feel like it's one of my favorite songs because I was like I'm watching like your Instagram story and like the kind of love that like a relationship like that is consists of is like so beautiful because you're not like I mean I'm sure you get a lot in the way of like knowledge and like respect, but you're not like getting anything from the relationship really. Like you're not trying to get anything out of it
Yeah,
because like
yeah, I
there's
know what you're trying to say, definitely.
yeah, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's just such a beautiful thing to write about. So like that kind of love, having that kind of love for someone in a relationship, does that help you a lot in your other relationships with other people? Like kind of just loving people for who they are and not like who
Oh,
they aren't?
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, it's nice coming back home and being close to her again. It puts me it really like widens your perspective on things. Like it's like what's important, And I'm sorry, what was the other part of the question? I kind of got lost.
How that relationship and like that like love that you have, you've like how much have you like learned from that and applied it in other relationships that you have?
Oh yeah, well, um I feel like in a lot of ways it's like it gets me excited to be like a caretaker in some ways, or like a dad someday. Like I'm not like rushing to be a dad
Yeah.
anytime soon. I'm 21, but like I don't know. I know a lot of my friends, I'll talk to them and they're like, "Man, I don't want to be a dad. Like I don't want to have kids." And I'm like, "Man, I would love to have kids, Cuz in a lot of ways like I felt like being around her all the time made me appreciate how rewarding it can be to like take care of somebody or teach them certain things. And it's a big reason why I'm going to school to be a teacher. Right now I'm an intern at Waikiki Elementary School in Hawaii, fourth grade class, and it's it's super rewarding working with kids. I mean, it's hard and it's not a lot of money, but yeah.
That it's great to hear that there's people becoming teachers like it's like refreshing to hear.
Thanks.
Do you think that becoming a teacher might restrict like any creative freedoms you might have with music? Like my best friend is a high school's teacher, and we had to like cover up a lot of things, or not like cover up things, but like just
Yeah.
be careful of what we put out or how he associates himself with certain things. And it's
Definitely, yeah. I mean, you have to be. I am gonna have to be, but I already am. I'm kind of like that. I feel like I'm. I'm kind of like PG. I don't know, to
Yeah.
begin with, you know, like my music, I'm not like, I feel like I'm not going to be changing my music at all, really.
Yeah, you don't really
know?
curse too much.
No,
Do you at all?
I don't think any of my no, I don't think so. I mean, like, I'm human. I curse
Yeah.
sometimes, but you know,
Happens.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, but I guess like in the future, if you were to, like, I don't know, like if you were gonna try to like experiment, try a different style of music, or maybe like if you were writing a song about like a bad day or something like that,
Yeah.
or I don't know, like just let loose. But you know, I guess just in general, would it restrict? anything?
Maybe, you know, like, but I don't know. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make, I
Yeah.
think, because I enjoy it, and I feel like the kind of music that it's not gonna affect the kind of music that just comes out of me, you know. It might affect the kind of music that I'm like, oh, I want to make this kind of, you know, I want to make a trap song or something like that.
Yeah.
But I could just like put it under a different name
Yeah,
or something, you
right.
know, like not have it, or I could still make it, but just not be associated with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or not put it out. Or
Have you thought about like teaching music at all?
Ooh, that's an interesting question.
I've thought about it, but I don't know. I've taught surfing because surfing was like my first like love or passion in a lot of ways, you know. Well, like I grew up near the beach, so I was always like standing up on a boogie board or skimboarding or on soft tops, but I got my first shortboard in like middle school. So I've been doing it for a while, but I really got into it in high school. We had a surf team, but I gave surf lessons, you know, in high school, and then the past couple of summers I give surf lessons, and I also worked at a surf shop. And it's kind of nice having the separation of like what you love to like. Don't get me wrong. If I was good enough to be a professional surfer, I would do it. You know, that's a great job. But like to teach people how to surf, like it's not like, it's not really what I would consider like doing what I love. You know what I mean? Like, and like making music is what I love to do, but I don't know if like teaching music might take some of the fun out of music. Because when I was giving surf lessons all summer, the waves would be good sometimes, and I'm like, man, I work at the beach 6 days a week. I don't want to like, this is my day off.
Yeah.
I don't want to go surf right now. And like, I never thought I would say that or do that because I love surfing so much, but you know, it happens. So
Can I like get exhausted from it? or-
yeah, 100. Well, the salt water in the sun is just so draining too. So maybe it's a little different with music, but like, I like teaching people how, like in small amounts, like about music. You know, if somebody wants to learn, like it's fun to, because it can go a long way. You know, like the people who like showed me like some sort of like attention, you know, or like help with like learning just a couple chords, like just think about how much that sparked, you know, and like how it like put me on the right path. And
Mhm.
yeah.
Do you know about like music theory, or you learned in that a bit, or classically trained at all?
No, I'm not classically trained, but I know a decent amount of like theory about like you know, like chord changes and stuff like that, like scales.
Joe missed it earlier. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you started with guitar again?
Oh yeah, so I started playing guitar like barely in like middle school. Like I took like a couple lessons, and I quit cuz I like, my teacher was actually really good, like cheap, and he was helpful and everything, but I just didn't know like what to even like. He would be like, "Oh, what do you want to learn?" And I was like, "What do I want to like?" I don't know. Like I didn't know that many songs. I was like in 5th grade. I honestly wasn't like a huge from a music family or anything like that. Um but I don't anyway. Yeah, so I took a couple lessons, quit. But the reason I quit is because like when I was listening to music, I couldn't even pick out like what the guitar was really. You know what I
Really?
mean? It just sounded like a wall of sound, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, and I actually remember the first time in high school when my buddy Johnny, he like pointed out, I was like a freshman, he was older, and he pointed out the bass line of a Mac DeMarco song.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first Mac DeMarco song I listened to. And and I was like, oh wow, it was nice. And he pointed out like each instrument, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. It's not just a wall of sound anymore, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and then I got obsessed with like certain parts of the sound. Like I was like, oh, this bass line is so groovy, you know? Like, or man, I feel like I'm going on a tangent.
No,
I've
no,
never
no,
been
you're
on a
not.
podcast
You're not.
before,
It's
so
fine. I noticed that you have like you have some pretty good bass lines in like the song "Clearly Cloudy" and like I said before, "Small Talk."
oh, thanks.
It's really, I kind of like them a lot. They were pretty good. What would you say would be some musical influences of yours?
I wish there was video right now. I wish there was video. For the listeners, it just took Cole like 20 seconds to open a beer. It was very entertaining.
Because I noticed that when I first heard like "Kissing in the Sky," I the first thing I thought of was that, or first thing it reminded me of was the very niche kind of subcategory of folk from the 60s and 70s, like flower power type
Oh, wow.
folk. So things.
Man, I love folk, so
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of some Melanie Safka, I think her name is Melanie Safka, Tim Hardin, and like Joan Baez and stuff like that.
Nice.
So I don't know if those were any influences on you.
yeah, definitely. I've listened to them, but like as far as folk goes, I think my biggest like inspirations were like Bob Dylan, James Taylor.
Video earlier.
What video? Today?
Yeah.
Oh no, today I was playing John Lennon, but I've played some Bob Dylan.
Okay.
Come
Fuck
on,
me.
Jack.
God damn it.
I've played some Bob Dylan covers though. Man, he's like, I owe a lot of like my music taste honestly to my good friend Johnny, and he plays guitar in like the cover band we play in the summer. Man, he's so good, and he also like has such great music taste. Like a lot of the stuff that I listen to is because of him, like Bob Dylan or whoever. Oh, my Instagram.
Who's this man?
For Johnny.
His Instagram is Ron Jusso, but it's John Russo, you know, so it's flipped. But I forget if there's an underscore in there. He doesn't post anything though.
Never mind. Don't check him out.
But he's really good. Yeah. He's really. We have a band Instagram though, the Orange Blossoms. It's just, you know, all together, the Orange Blossoms, and there's some videos of him, you know, all of us on there.
Nice.
But
I'm gonna follow right now because I know I'll forget later.
I'm glad you brought up "Kiss in the Sky" though, because those last two songs I made recently feel more like the kind of thing that I'm going for. You know, like when I was making Priceless Junk and Clearly Cloudy, I was still like, I mean, I'm always learning, you know, like my voice and how to play guitar, but I was really only like, when I released Clearly Cloudy, I was like 2 years into buying a guitar, because I didn't really start playing until senior year of high school. Like I said, I took some lessons like in middle school, but like there was a lot of limitations when I was making Clearly Cloudy and Priceless Junk, because I didn't know what I was doing really, and you know, I'm sure in a couple years I'll look back on me now and be like, oh, I didn't know what I was doing then either. But like I'm getting closer to like what I want to be making, you know? So yeah, if you're listening to this and you want to know like what I'm going to be making in the future, listen to my last two singles that I put out. But, you know, listen to whatever you want to listen to, obviously.
And Loving Means Leaving?
Yeah, Loving Means Leaving. My buddy Brian played drums and bass on that one. Yeah.
Instagram plug for him.
Brian DeSeno. But his Instagram is like Blessed Info or something, and he doesn't post music stuff either. Really, I think he's posted a couple of things, but he's also in my band in the summer, the Orange Blossoms. Not my band, our band.
So
I hate when I say that.
Influence-wise, you talked a little bit about like hip hop, like early rap.
Yeah, I
Bob
mean,
Dylan,
honestly,
some of the
like
Beatles. Are there any other that we haven't touched on? I know you talked about Jack Johnson a little bit earlier.
Yeah. So when I say I listen to rap, like it was kind of like I guess it did have an influence on me, but I when I'm talking about like my biggest influences, I would probably go more towards Jack Johnson. Mac DeMarco was huge, honestly, in high school because that was the first person, like I said, my buddy Johnny showed me that, I think it was No Other Heart, that there's a really cool bass line in that. And after that, I was like, wow, this guy's cool. And that was like one of the first people that like wasn't from my parents or wasn't from like other adults, you know what I mean?
Oh,
It felt
that
like
showed
it
you,
felt
yeah.
cool. It felt like oh,
You
this
were
is what
hip.
the kids are listening to, you know what I mean? Like, or like, I don't know. Bruce Springsteen. But the Bruce thing is weird because when I was younger, I love the song Thunder Road. Like I was like 7 years old and I would just play. That's like my first memory of a song is Thunder Road, and I had it on CD and I would just play it a ton of times. And I didn't like anything else by him. I would just play Thunder Road. Like Born to Run would come on. I'd be like, what is this? Turn it off. Skip. But then it's weird because I kind of realized that he was a local guy. I didn't know he was local. I was like 7 or 8, and
You didn't realize he was like the god of New Jersey that everyone thinks he is.
Yeah, and then I was like, oh, well, he's not cool. Everybody thinks he's cool. He's not cool anymore, you know? So like for my early high school and like middle school, I was like, Bruce Springsteen is not cool. Like that's like what I thought. Because I associated him with like Born in the USA and like I don't really like and Glory Days. It's not my favorite, but like my buddy Johnny again, he showed me like East Street Shuffle. I mean, we revisited like I still love the song Thunder Road, but he's such a good like storyteller, like songwriter, and some of his older stuff. There's some really cool like instrumental wise like stuff going on, like the song Rosalita. It has such a cool sax solo and like the keys player is really good. I don't know, and I've been reading his book. It's just interesting to read about him because you know he came up around here. So
Right. Now, when it comes to like, because as you were saying before, you like to pay attention to the construction or the composition of things instrumentally. How when I was listened to Kissing in the Sky, I thought about it. I was like, this is very pleasantly simplistic. Like it's not trying to be anything too flashy, because a lot of things that a lot of young musicians in the indie scene now I've noticed like try to do is that they either try to overcomplicate things and be super niche and different to where it's weird or like they're overcrowding a track with like 17 instruments unpurposefully and stuff like that. So it's very refreshing to see like, all right, this dude is writing with a purpose and he like knows what he wants to hear. So how do you is that something you do a lot?
Well, yeah, a part of that had to do with that was the first song I completely produced on my own. So Loving Means Leaving, I tracked it with my buddy, which means we recorded all the stuff. Yeah. But then when it came to the final stuff, like the sound levels and stuff and like how much reverb to put on and like the stereo, what should be on the left, what should be on the right, like we sent it to a sound guy, my buddy, Pat Walsh, Patty Dubs, shout out.
Patty Dubs, I know him.
You do?
Yeah, I used to work with him, I think.
Really?
Yeah. He worked, I don't know, at least I'm thinking of the right same dude. He's from like up north, right?
No, he's not from up north.
Oh, damn it.
Wait a minute, no.
Fuck.
I know this dude.
He's from Spring Lake Heights.
Hold on, I'm pretty sure I know this dude. Keep talking, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Anyway, he runs like I said, like a studio. What was I gonna say? What was I even talking about? Kissing the Sky
album.
Oh, Loving Means Leaving. I sent it to Pat to do the mix and master, which is like, all the final touches kind of stuff, but it really helps. Like it sounds so much better, it's crazy. But Kissing the Sky, I did it all on my own. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to keep it simple. I'm going to only have a couple, like no more than like 10 tracks running or like instruments. Like I think I only did like 6 or something like that. Like I had the acoustic guitar, the electric guitar, the piano, and I did some like percussion stuff at the end.
Were you playing all of that yourself, by the way?
The piano was actually my old roommate, Jace. And I should give him credit for why the song is so simple too, because he commented on my Instagram. I posted the song originally on my Instagram, like half of it, and he's like, oh, I really like this. And then he texted me about it. And he's he's always really liked music that's like simple kind of, you know, but like good. Like you don't have to be like trying to show off, like you said.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing crazy going on in the song, but I think it just sounds nice, you know, which is what is so important, because learning theory and stuff, sometimes you get to in your head, you're like, oh, this isn't complicated enough, or like this isn't that or that, but like if it sounds good, it sounds good. So I give him credit for like the soundscape of the song. But yeah, he played keys on it, and then I actually like at the end when the drums come in, it's not even drums, it's just like I actually was just hitting a boogie board over a sync and put a mic in it, but then took out all the high end so it sounds like a bass drum.
That's really creative.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And then for the whatever you want to call it, like kind of sounds like a tom or a snare maybe. It's just me hitting a trash can lid, and then I put some like effects on it so it sounded like a drum. But
It's so cool.
That's some like EDM shit to do.
I love that.
But I'm really stoked on how that song came out, because it feels like something I would actually listen to, you know? I don't know. Which is, I think, means I'm getting closer to like who I want to be as an artist when the music I'm making starts sounding more and more like stuff I would actually like to hear, you know?
Yeah.
Because I put on some of my old stuff and I'm like, I wouldn't listen to this. I don't know. But I guess every musician does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of a common theme, I feel like.
Happens all the time.
Do you listen to your own music?
Yeah, I do. I wish I didn't though.
Yeah.
You wish you didn't?
Yeah, like sometimes I've been caught in the act of listening to my own music. Like I'll take a screen recording of something, and you know how you could see like the music thing when you take a screen recording of like, even if it's just a meme on Instagram or something, and I'll send it to my friends. And they're like, "Wow, dude, you're listening to your own music," and I'm like,
narcissist.
No, it's a mistake. Usually,
it's not like that.
I'll admit
showing
that
someone.
sometimes I've put it on. Like, I wonder what it sounds like. You know, I'm just curious. Because every time you listen to it, you maybe notice something new, but most of it is just like me analyzing it. Like, oh, what could I have done differently, or what could I have?
Yeah,
I don't
and
know.
that's important. I think Childish Gambino said the same thing. I think he said one time that he was, I think he was talking to a friend of his, or they were in the car and stuff, and he was listening to his own music, and they were asked like, "You listen to your own music?" And he was like, "Yeah, of course I do. Like, why is that?" Like, is that weird? And he's like, because you analyze your own music and stuff, but at the same time, if you don't make music that you yourself would listen to, then like, what does that really mean? Like, why?
Yeah. 100%. Which is why I don't like, if I end up making more, like pop stuff for fun. I don't know if I want it to go with under my name, because I don't know if I want that like expected out of me, because it's not really stuff I really listen to, I guess. I don't know, but sometimes it is. Like sometimes lately I've been listening to Post Malone, but I'll probably stop listening to him in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Like I'll get tired of it. But the common theme is like, I really love folk music. I love classic rock. Like I've been on a Beatles kick lately. I love the Stones. And man, I love Jack Johnson and like Mac DeMarco, you know, certain parts of like alternative rock and stuff. Like I love the Strokes. The Strokes are great.
Good. So if you were to go down the path of making a pseudonym for yourself in the music world, do you know, do you have any ideas of what it would be?
On the spot.
I had an idea. You remember when we worked at River House, right? Everyone called me Coleslaw. And I was thinking,
Did they?
Yeah, like remember Jake?
Ever called you
Do you
that?
remember
Oh,
Jake?
Jake, yeah.
He was like Coleslaw.
Shout out to Jake
Or you would
Moise.
you would
Moise.
call me sometimes just Slaw for short. So I was thinking like Lil Coleslaw or like Lil Slaw, but
Lil Slaw?
I looked it up and they're taken. So I'm like, oh, I gotta
really?
figure something out.
Damn.
Lil Slaw. Shout outs to Lil Slaw.
Wherever
Change
you
your
are.
fucking name. You dick. Quick shout outs as well to Lil Burr, because he has me on a Beatles and Bob Dylan kick also. So the last song that I wanted to bring up from that album, and sorry to just be like stuck on this album, it's just my favorite. And I actually like
it's the only
genuinely-
album I've ever made.
Yeah.
You know, because everything else is, I put out 2 singles, and the first thing I put out was an EP. Then I put out that album, Priceless Drunk. And then this year I put out 2 singles. And I want to make an album again, because it's fun making an album, you know, and ordering it and like all that. But
Yeah.
what were you gonna say?
So better man with somebody.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
feel
the
like
lyric. But what's the name of the song?
is it not better with
that's not
what is
the
it
name of the song.
with somebody
With somebody.
with somebody.
Yeah.
So with somebody, I feel like that song really for me speaks to like how vulnerable you are with your music in a way, because that almost isn't something that is a positive thing. Like saying that you're better with somebody, like people think like, oh, you need to like rely on somebody or something like that, but you're not like worried about people thinking that really, because you're kind of just like putting your cards on the table.
No, yeah, like I just like writing about what I feel, you know? So like I'm not thinking about like, oh, somebody's going to listen to this and think like, wow, Cole can't be on his own or
Yeah.
whatever, you know? Like I used to be like that, but the more I thought about it, I was like, it's important to just write what you feel, even if what you're feeling's wrong. Like it is, yeah, you should be like fine
Honest.
on your own, but like that song was kind of a um about like meeting someone after like a first breakup, and like it was nice to feel like you were like falling in love again, you know? Like it felt nice. So yeah. But yeah, I think it's important to be, especially that's why I love folk music so much, man, because it's like so open and just like, you know, what you're saying should just be like what you're feeling or your own truth, you know? Like
So you briefly talked about the perspective switch from like what you think people would want to hear, like what people think is good, and then like what is honest to you and what is like your truth. Could you point your finger to like a specific time in your life when that changed, or like what changed that, or now?
I think I have to I think I have to pay like a lot of the way I am to my family, and a lot to Katie. Like I said, like she just like widens like my perspective when I'm around her, like just changes, you know? Like it's I don't know, it's hard to put into words, but you just realize like what's important, and you know, being truthful is important to people and to yourself. So like it's all right, like if you're a songwriter and you're writing about like jealousy or whatever, but like it's not great to be jealous all the time. Like if I write a song about being jealous, I'm not promoting jealousy, but like it's what I was feeling. So like in its own right, it's truthful because it's what I was feeling, and it's an expression of like what's happening in my life or whatever. And yeah, Katie's just shown me that like you know, you shouldn't care too much about what other people think, because people are going to think what they think, you know? Like Katie walks into every room like not caring what anyone else thinks, and it's awesome to be around that kind of energy.
Very
you know?
admirable.
Yeah, because like she catches so many stares. Like when I was younger, like she'd pee her pants or poop her pants or whatever, like do crazy stuff, and it would not phase her. I mean, it would phase her. She'd be all like nervous, but she's very good at taking like grounding me, I feel like, in a way, and kind of like I don't know, she's very wise.
Yeah, really, to like circle back to her song, or the song about her, it ends with you say something like, the only truth, I love you.
Oh yeah.
And it's like it makes me think of that, because like something like that is like the only real like
Yeah,
that's
just
that's
so
the real
strong.
truth, you know?
Yeah, our relationship, I'm just so blessed to have like a relationship like that, you know what I mean? Like, and with my whole family, it's like that, honestly. Like I'm really blessed like to like have like a really good family situation.
Yeah,
you
for
know?
sure.
So cuz like it's almost hard sometimes, cuz I have such a good family relationships that like sometimes it seems like the relationship I have elsewhere like falls short sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's with a girl or like friends or something, you're just like, like the expectations are just set so high. Like how like dude, like a hug from Katie is like the best thing in the world. Like how are you gonna compete with that, you know?
Mhm.
So it's just like I'm just so blessed to like come home and like experience that. But you know, it's also nice like being on your own too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
As for you know, music and being a part of the music scene here as a artist who consistently releases music, have you ever given thoughts about like collaborating with other musicians and kind of step more into the scene? Because from what I've noticed, like the Orange Blossoms is a cover band, you said, and
Yeah.
but
Well,
most of the time you seem to be like on your own for the most part, and you know, releasing whatever music you want to make, which is obviously a great thing.
yeah, well, actually, originally, Loving Means Leaving, I wrote the song, like I wrote the chords and everything, but I wanted the whole Orange Blossoms on it. And like, we do play my songs sometimes out, but like, if we're gonna release music, we've kind of agreed that we kind of want to write stuff together. And we do write some stuff. We have like some stuff, but it's all not finished. We just played a lot of covers this summer because, you know, that's how you get paid. Like,
Yeah.
so the people like they want to hear that. Like we just play what people want to hear, kind of. But we want to kind of have a mix of it. It would be nice to do both. Like
Yeah.
my favorite bands do both. You know, they'll play like Mac DeMarco. When I saw him live, half the stuff he played was covers, and it was sick. It
Yeah.
was so fun. Yeah, but I would eventually like to make. Yeah, because I love playing music so much with those guys. Matt Whitley, shout out, Brian DeSeno, Johnny Russo. And then we actually have a new drummer. So the guy who was playing drums, Brian, is now playing bass. And our new drummer's name is Peter. And I haven't jammed with him yet because I've been in Hawaii. I just got home. So we're actually going to jam like all for the first time tomorrow as like a 5-piece instead of a 4-piece.
Nice.
But yeah, I would love to put out music with them because they're all like, you know, I've kind of learned how to sing recently and stuff, and I like writing and stuff, and I can play guitar, like I can write chords and stuff like that. But like, there's a lot of stuff I can't do, you know.
Yeah.
So it's so helpful to be with other good musicians, like, you know, when I'm playing with them, I can just think about singing or something, you know. I can play like easy stuff on the guitar, and then they just, you know, do the rest of the work, you know, make me sound good.
Yeah.
The last band I was in, or not true. One of the bands I was in before the last band I was in was a 5-piece, and it's great because we all had great chemistry with each other. We all knew each other for a long time, and
So important.
It was awesome because we got hung up on the writing process a lot, but very few times we would just kind of like jam and try to write together as a band.
Mhm.
And we all like said it afterwards. It was really comforting, and there was a good static in the room to where you are not only just so focused on what you're doing, but it's connecting and fitting into place with what other people are doing, simply because like you trust everyone, and like you know that everyone else in this room is doing their part and doing their job, and you don't have to worry about anybody else in the way. And things, the pieces just kind of fall into place. It's very excuse me, it's very cool. You know, being in a 5-piece is pretty rad.
Yeah. Because there was times where we had to play as like a trio or something, and it's hard. Like, I mean, we made it work, but it's just nice. But when you are playing in a 5-piece, you have to realize like there has to be chemistry, and there has to be like times when you don't, you know, you got to be tasteful in like what you play.
Yeah.
Because if everyone just plays like a lot of stuff, like a lot of notes or the same stuff or whatever it is,
It'll be crowded.
it's gonna sound bad. It's gonna sound muddy. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
that's why I'm so lucky. Like the guys I play with are such like, they're so tasteful. You know, that's why I really like playing with them, because they're not like for example, Johnny Russo. He's not the fastest guitar player, the like most technical.
He's not
yeah,
like a shred lord
he's got a
or-
really good theory mind, but he's just got really good feel and like really good taste. Like he doesn't step. It's almost like sometimes I have to look at him and I'm like, dude, take some more risks, because you kill it. You know what I mean? Like you're being really tasteful and stuff, but like he's super humble, you know what I mean? Like he's just like, but yeah, it's so nice playing with people who are better than you.
Yeah, I said that in one of our other episodes. Like the best way to become a better musician is to only play with people who are like exponentially better than you.
Well, dude, when I was starting in high school, I knew like 2 chords, and Johnny Russo, the kids I did surf team with, Kevin Malgin and his brother, like they would just let me play with them. Like they would play like the Spring Lake 5 and stuff. I wouldn't even sing. I would just play a couple chords, rhythm guitar in the back. I couldn't play like anything, but they would always include me and like always, and I feel like that made me grow as a musician like so fast. They'd give me like one little part, like on Scarlet Begonia, is like the bum bum ba dum, and I would wait. I wouldn't play anything, and then I'd wait for that part to come again, and I'd play it again. And like somebody else was playing it too, but I just played it with them, and like that's all I knew. But they would like let me. Oh, it was so cool. Like, you know,
that's something that's like helping me grow a lot personally, is like just pushing yourself also in that same vein to like want to be up to speed with them, kind of, you know?
Yeah,
And
I feel
like
that.
so when we're at like Eric's, shout out to the Wizard,
The Wizard Fitamont.
Space Station Recordings. Everyone is so good, and like I feel so blessed that they like let me play with them at the same time, because like me jamming like on piano or like bass, like I was playing bass the other night and I was like pretty drunk after the podcast, and like it was just, I don't even know what happened, but I'm so appreciative that they like let me play with them almost, because I like learn so much and I like grow so much each time, because they're like, try this, or like
It's insane,
Armin's like,
yeah.
try this, that. He teaches me piano actually, and I'm just so grateful.
and it makes you feel like a part of something. You're like, I'm doing something cool.
Yeah.
You know, like
There's a different feeling
It's
playing with
inspiring.
other. Yeah, exactly. It's
like if I
different.
didn't play with them, I don't think I would be nearly as into music. And they played a lot of covers. So then that's what's got me. I always liked writing, you know, but like that's what got me like, oh, I should write songs. Like I should, cause like Johnny shreds on the guitar, Kevin sings and plays bass. But like they don't write many songs. Maybe I should write some songs and we could try to play them. And like so I remember the first couple songs I wrote, like we would like try to play them, and it felt like I would like have Kevin like try to sing them, and it was just so it felt so cool, you know, having like if I was completely on my own like learning on YouTube and stuff, I might have stopped, you know,
Yeah,
because
for
it's
sure.
it's tiring, and it's like it's refreshing to play with other people.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, that's what I attribute the reasons to me stopping when I stopped playing in high school and in elementary school, was that I didn't have anyone around me to really make me want to be better or to help me get better. Like I
Yeah.
had teachers, but like it wasn't like they're my friends and the people that I'm surrounded with. Like once a week I go and like even like sometimes like lie about how much I practice, because like I'm like ashamed of it, and then but like when it's my friends, like I can be honest and like open.
Yeah.
Do you think that like I also want to double back, let's double back first, because we were talking about writing a little bit and we talked about your writing process, but you said you guys wrote some stuff together, right?
Yeah, but
How did that work out? How did that go? What was like dynamic there?
we have like 2 half of songs that we've written together.
Yeah,
That's
always
about it. But we like the kids I play with are really, really good improvisers. So we jam a lot. So like,
It's great.
we could I feel like we could like write stuff fast, honestly, but
Yeah.
not like rushed. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like music could just like come out of us. You know what I
just
mean?
See,
good,
that's-
good efficiency.
Yeah, that's something that happens a lot. I feel like when you put talented people together, especially like with the jams that we have, like some of the jams that we have, and even shout outs Anti-Hero 7000, like his like freestyles, like sometimes when you're just fucking around, most of the time it's like okay, or like it sounds cool, whatever, but sometimes you just get like a gem, and you know when you're playing it that you're like, oh fuck, this is a song,
Yeah, there
like
was
is that kind of
actually
thing
a
happens
video
a lot?
on her Orange Blossom's Instagram of Matt's girlfriend took a video of me, Johnny, and Matt. We had 3 guitars. I had an acoustic, Matt had an acoustic, and then Johnny was on electric. and I was just like freestyling something. It was just like 2 chords, but Matt had this like lick that he was playing, and Johnny was doing some cool stuff on the electric, and I was just like freestyling words, and I feel like that could be a song. Like if we like actually, or it's like 7 minutes long or something, the freestyle, but like if we took the good parts and put them together, you know, it could be a song. But I don't know, and it'll be fun to try to write with them. It'll be like a different mindset. You got to be like open to, because when you're writing, it's like for yourself, it's like, this is my way or whatever, I want this. But when you're writing with a band, you have to be open to what everybody wants.
It's got to be compromised.
Yeah.
And that could be tricky, especially with, you know, the more members in a band, you run the higher risk of, you know, there being conflict or different opinions.
Especially recording.
Yeah, especially recording, because everyone wants it to be
a certain way.
Yeah, or not even just that, but definitely that. But also just like the best it could be, and the idea of, you know, the best this song could be different in the eyes of a lot of people. That's why bands like there's this band called The World Is a Beautiful Place and I'm No Longer Afraid to Die, and there's like literally 13 members of this band. Like it's I'm not even kidding, it's like 13 members, and I don't know how they get anything done.
It's like Modest Mouse. They have a ton of members, right? Or maybe they just have like people that they hire, but I saw them live when I was like 14 and there was a ton of people on stage.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, how do you all come to a consensus on this? It's crazy. And also, like, Thank You Scientist, I think, has like 8 members. Or
so in the vein of Thank You Scientist, also shout outs to We Used to Cut the Grass.
Oh, they're good.
That's the bassist band and one of my really good friends, Shay Leonhardt. But they have like 13 members. They have one song, it's called Woodpecker, I think. And if you watch the YouTube video, it's insane. There's like 2 drummers, a whole like brass section, like a bassist, 2 fucking guitarists. Like, it's insane. But
it's just crazy at that point.
Yeah, but it sounds good. I'll promise you that. Where else? What were we just talking about? Because I had something else to say.
You're just talking about dynamics with
recording,
writing. Like you asked about the dynamic of the writing process for Orange Blossoms.
Do you have something real quick while I think about the other thing I was gonna say? Because I totally forgot.
Oh yeah, sure. Have you guys ever, or Cole, have you ever like jammed with strangers, like people who like you've never met, or like someone you, or like a group of people that you met for maybe like once, and then the next time you saw them, you just jammed?
Well, that's how me and one of the members, Matt, and Brian, I guess too. I knew Brian like a little bit in high school, but not. I just knew of him kind of. We all played together, and we were just like, we should start a band. Like that's how it worked. So we were pretty much strangers. I knew him a little bit from. He played in a band called Lunch Ladies in high school.
That's an incredible.
That's
name,
before I played music though, so I like watched him. I didn't even know his name or know who he was, but then I like recognized him when we played together at Johnny's house. And yeah, it's just funny how that works. But we just liked how we sounded, and we were like, let's start like a cover band this summer. But now I feel like as the summer went on, we're like, we should do more with this, you know? Like we should write songs, because like I write songs, but like Matt writes songs too, and like Johnny's an amazing improviser. So is Matt. Brian's like a really good all-around musician, can play a bunch of stuff. Like, so we're like, we should record some stuff. So we actually tried to record Loving Means Leaving all together. But it didn't really work because it was really low budget. You know, we just had like this interface. We didn't really know what we were doing. Like, so a lot of it came out sounding bad. And I think Johnny and Matt kind of were like, dude, you're going back to Hawaii soon. We only have so much time. Let's just jam and have fun. Like, we had like a week or 2 left. And me and Brian were like, nah, we got to record this song. So me and Brian actually ended up just doing it, just us 2. So that's why the leads on there, like I played some leads on there, and they're like, all right, but it could have been like in my head, like, man, it could have been so much better if like, you know,
was on board, yeah.
There was, because Matt and Johnny, they both play lead. It's kind of like a Dead style thing, you know, where they bounce. Their chemistry is so good, they bounce off each other. So like I'll play chords and just hold it down, and sometimes they play chords too, you know. But a lot of times they're just kind of bouncing like tasteful ideas off each other. And I'm like, man, that would have been cool if that could have been part of the song. But yeah, like I think as I'm learning more about recording and stuff, we'll be able to do it in an easier way, because recording's a tough process. You play, and then you go back and you listen, and you're like, that's what I sound like? Are you kidding me?
That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I think it was Johnny's like first time like recording, like not like a demo, like actually trying to record something. And he's so good. Everything he played to me sounded so great. I was like, this is great, dude. And he was just like, no, it's not perfect. I want to try it like 100 times. And I was like, oh,
Yeah. There have been countless times where me and my old band would be sitting in. We recorded our stuff in like our buddy's bedroom, and
that's where same.
You know what I mean? And we'll be sitting there, and you have to be dead quiet when there's vocals going on, can't make any noise. But with me on bass or one of my guitarists and stuff, we'd all just be sitting around because we'd be writing or editing or practicing our parts and whatnot, but everyone had to be perfect and stuff, so you'd be chilling for a little while they go through like 40 takes and stuff. It's crazy.
It's a lot.
But when you had that first jam, like to these people who were like kind of strangers, I guess, was there like a level of anxiety like going into like, oh, these are some people I don't know?
Nah, I don't really. No. I also jammed with a stranger one time in Hawaii. So that kid Jace Hall played "Kissing the Sky."
Mm-hmm.
He played keys on that song. We were roommates in Hawaii, and I met this kid who played saxophone in one of my classes. And he's like, "Oh, my roommate is a drummer, but we don't have any drums. But there's this band room like on the 5th floor of this like school building. Let's go try to sneak in there." And we went, and it worked for like an hour until we got like kicked out. But
dude, pretty loud.
Yeah, but he was a complete stranger, and I don't know, like music, like I'm not really nervous. I used to be nervous singing around people, which is why in Hawaii I did a bunch of open mics last year to get over that fear, like every week. Like the first time I went to an open mic. What did I say? Open mic. The first time I went to an open mic, I actually went there, looked at everybody playing, and my name was on the list, and I was so nervous that I had to leave. I couldn't even do it, and I was alone. I wasn't with anybody.
Yeah.
But then, I just did it every week, and like sometimes it went bad, sometimes it went good, but I just got over the fear getting in my head about it. And then this summer when we actually played gigs, we were playing like 2 or 3 times a week. It was all outside, not for like huge crowds or anything, but like it just helps so much with getting over that fear. So now like I'm not really scared to like sing, or it's not like I was ever scared to sing it. I was scared to mess up, but I'm not scared to mess up anymore, really, because it happens.
So I remembered what I was going to say earlier, and it's a perfect segue from what you said, Joe. So hats off to you.
As always.
The idea, like I want to talk a little bit about, because it seems like you do it kind of, the idea of like surrounding yourselves with other musicians. So like, do you do that in more aspects than just the Orange Blossoms? Like, do you have other people?
Yeah.
Like, are you closer with other musicians than you are with other people? Like, does that affect your relationships a lot?
Yeah. It's the same thing with surfing too. Like a lot of my good friends are musicians and surfers, and there's some kids that I'm friends with that I'm younger that aren't either, like that we're homies, but we don't really hang out too much anymore because I surf and play music a lot. So like if you're not doing that, then we're probably not going to see each other that much. And like, it's, it kind of stinks in a way, but like at the same time, yeah, my best friends are, family, surfers, or musicians, and there's definitely a special kind of bond, like, with other musicians, especially ones that you have like similar tastes with. Mm-hmm. There's nothing better than having like good music talk,
Nothing better than some good music talk. I could go on for hours with the conversations that I've had with people. I don't know. I feel so lucky to have the musicians and friends in music that I do, because like, I feel like for me I'm so into music, more so I would say than the average person. So I feel like it was easier for me to like break into those like friend groups of musicians when I wasn't one.
Working like, at the bass zone helps.
Yeah. I would just like literally sit around at Eric's like upstairs, and they would all be jamming, and I would just be like sitting there,
Dude,
like
in high school,
like enjoying all of it. But at the same time, like I understand how like for most people it's like hard, because I have friends that like me and like one of my friends or two of my friends, when I first started DJing, we would just DJ like the whole entire time we would hang out. And we had a couple friends be like, yeah, well, we don't want to like sit around and like watch you DJ all night long. And it's like, well, that's how it happens. Like
yeah.
most people don't want to sit around and like listen to you play
Nobody
music
wants
the
to
whole
hear
time.
me scream into a microphone in a crusty basement somewhere.
Exactly.
But
Except other people who want to do exactly that.
Yeah, but like I was saying, in high school when I did surf team, and the kids that got me into music, like trying to play music, shout out Kevin Malgin and Johnny Russo. I've said his name like 20 times on this podcast. But I would just watch them play and be like, that is so cool. I want to do that. You know what I mean? So I feel like everyone kind of has that story of like seeing someone do it and being like, oh, they're my friend. They're like my age. I guess I could do it too. I don't know.
That's like a really cool realization that like not a lot of people have ever with friends that have like play music, because like I know personally, like a lot of the times when I first started like being around the scene, it was like the people who were performing were up here, like for the audio, my hand's up a little higher than my other hand, and the other like I'm down here, like I'm not on the same level.
Figure that out contextually.
I'm not on the same level as them, and like almost like they're better than me kind of. But then you realize that they've just been doing it longer than you have, and they've just like put in the time and the effort. Like you can really, I mean, you're a great example of it. Like your story, like being able to do whatever you really put your mind to.
Yeah, it's so important. Like thinking about everything in that way, like doing what you want to do, you know, like putting your mind to something and doing it. Cause I've been playing for 4 years, and I've been singing. I mean, like I put out that first EP, Clearly Cloudy, in 2018. So that was 2 years ago. But that's really like when I first started singing. I was kind of like whispering and stuff, and I didn't really start learning how to control my voice until like this last summer. I started taking some singing lessons on Zoom. A lot of it has to do with like breath and like how much breath you put in.
Yeah, like the diaphragm and stuff.
Yeah, and like that helps so much, especially because we were playing like classic rock kind of stuff. I kind of have to shout, be punctual, you know, like Stones, Mick Jagger kind of stuff. Because when I first started, I was doing like folky kind of like whispery stuff.
Yeah.
You know? But
So, just out of curiosity, as both a musician and a surfer, like, how do you feel about like surf rock and stuff like that? Or are you a fan of it, like stuff like the Lively Ones or Dick Dale? And
Shout outs to Sunshine Spaz.
Dick Dale's like
Are they surf rock? They're not. They're like punk and stuff.
I think they're self-titled as surf rock.
Is Dick
surf? All right, that's fine.
I don't know.
Dick Dale's
Fuck.
like the
Yeah. He also made the theme song to Pulp Fiction.
It's kind of a broad category though, yeah. It seems like surf rock sometimes. Like there's definitely good surf rock. I actually like like what's considered surf rock a lot, like certain surf rock bands, but some of it is just like too much reverb and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's just kind of like what is this?
What is happening?
Yeah, like this could be better, but it's
This could be better, but it's not.
I wouldn't categorize Sunshine Spaz.
They're not bad,
as
but
that.
why are they? Is like the Growlers considered surf rock or not really?
I know that name.
I've seen them. They're good. I like them.
Also, I personally would not consider Sunshine Spaz surf rock.
All right,
It's kinda-
Sunshine Spaz, come
Do
on
you
the
know those
podcast.
bands
Defend yourself.
Somersault?
I've heard of them.
I don't know what surf rock is though, I guess. But like
I could say the same.
But like what I would consider surf rock is surfers who rock. like Jack Johnson. Dude, he rips. He's a great surfer. Donovan Frankenreiter. There's so many like ex-pro surfers who like turn musician kind of guys.
Really?
Well, I guess there's not that many, but like in my head there's more than I thought there would be. Like Donovan Frankenreiter is cool. He plays at this Pony sometimes. He's from Kauai, also from Hawaii, but like actually there's a lot of surfer musicians. Like Tom Curran, it was like one of the world champs, and now he like travels in like a band and like writes music and stuff. But I think Jack Johnson kind of like paved the way in certain ways for like surfer musician kind of vibe.
The only surf rock I know of is Dick Dale and this band called The Lively Ones, and that's it.
I don't know the Lively Ones, so
I
wish
barely
I
know
could.
them either, but those are that's
The
all I
Lively
know
Ones.
of my surf rock
Or what about
repertoire.
like Fiddler? Do you know Fiddler? I think
know
they all
Fiddler.
surf.
Fiddler's awesome, but I don't know if I don't think I'd consider them surf.
No, they're
rock.
not. They're like garage rock, right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
like grungy kind of ish. Fiddler's awesome though, but I it doesn't.
Is Sticky
surprise me.
Fingers considered surf rock?
The rapper?
No, Sticky Fingers, the band.
band?
Is there a band also
I don't
called
think
Sticky
so.
Fingers? Well, I guess the
Oh.
rapper is Sticky Fingers. I guess. I don't
No,
know.
yeah, the band. It's an Australian band. I feel like every Australian band has a little bit of surf rock hint to them. Like
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the Babe Rainbow,
No.
but
I don't know.
they seem surf rocky too. But yeah, surf rock's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's good, you know, there's all kinds of good music. There are all kinds of
Right.
bad music, but also, you know, it's your opinion. So like, it's not. I'm not one of those people like this is good, this is bad.
like this.
Yeah,
I
the
like
best
that.
I feel like
musicians
that's-
I know, the best musicians I know are always like, I like this, I don't like this. They're not like, that's not music. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, of course.
That's a big thing that I've like really tried to get myself to do, is rather than say this is bad, say I don't like this, or like I don't understand this, because I feel like that's a big part of it, is like understanding something or understanding someone. Like I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of who you are, and like that you seem to be a very good person, and you're nice and everything.
Yeah,
So
sometimes.
like I can appreciate your music more because I know you. And so I feel like a big part is that, and also a big part is like seeing it like be created, or seeing it live, like is a really big part in being able to understand music. What like, so genres you talked about, hip hop, folk, rock, are there genres that you won't listen to or that you don't?
Or at least not as much of a fan of as others.
A lot of guys in my band are really heavily into like jazz.
Ooh.
That's why they're such good, like, you know, they're kind of like, they were like Deadheads and stuff in high school. And then I feel like that's kind of the path. It's like first you get the jam bands, and then you start working your way to jazz, and
Yeah.
like your whole musical world like blows up. But they send a lot of the stuff in the group chat sometimes, and it's like a lot of like instrumental stuff sometimes. And I like it and I can listen to it, but it's not, like I said, like lyrics are so important to me for music. Like I like a story, or I don't know, but I can appreciate jazz for sure, but it's definitely not
Your go-to.
yeah, I'm not like a jazz head or whatever. I don't know.
Mhm.
But I guess this is kind of jazzy. I've been listening to like Frank Sinatra a lot recently, like
That's a big band. But
yeah, the big band.
yeah.
But they do like jazzy stuff sometimes. Like
Yeah,
they'll do
that's
these
true.
weird key changes or whatever. Like I don't know. But if I'm trying to think of like stuff I don't listen to, I don't listen to pop country really. Sometimes I can appreciate the lyrics in pop country because there's good writing in it sometimes, but I just can't get with like there's good country for sure.
Yeah,
There's
definitely.
great country,
Absolutely.
but a lot of the country on the radio is like
Garbage, kind of.
not
in
good.
my opinion.
It's like take you on bound in my big green tractor.
You don't understand it.
yeah.
No, I'm
know.
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I don't like it
think
either.
it's garbage.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
Yeah, like I can't get behind the we can go round in my big green tractor or whatever that song is. Like I listen to there's stuff like that I'm
You
like,
don't
what?
drive around a
But
big green
dude,
tractor.
I'll bump old Taylor Swift. I'll bump old Taylor Swift. I don't
Yeah,
care.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Like the whole Romeo thing she does.
Romeo?
Yeah, dude, that's fun. Like it is.
That's a
like,
really good
girly,
song.
and
It's a really good
like I
song.
get embarrassed if somebody sees me jamming that, but I at the same time I don't really care. Like I used to hate it when I was younger. I was like, Taylor Swift, she's always writing about her breakups and stuff. But then I grew up and started doing the same thing. So
I didn't like her, and then I turned into her.
yeah.
dude. Hell
Yeah, I'm slowly. That's the goal, is to just be Taylor
Be
Swift.
Taylor Swift
But
eventually.
no, not really. I'm trying to think of other stuff I don't listen to. I don't really listen to EDM, but I can appreciate it.
Metal.
Metal. I mean, like, what's metal? Is Metallica metal?
Yeah.
That's like soft metal.
Metal's one of
Yeah.
those. Metal's one of those genres that has a huge splintering of many subgenres.
Well,
So-
I'm a-
same thing with EDM.
In the summer, I'm
really?
Yeah, like EDM is electronic dance music.
Mhm.
There is
Yeah.
so many categories. There's dubstep, and then there's categories within dubstep,
Like chill hop?
like rhythm, yeah,
Chill
like
hop?
like
Have you heard of chill
lo-fi,
hop? Shout out
I know
Turnstile.
lo-fi.
like vaporwave, chill hop, all the same
Yeah, I
kind
was
of
about to say
thing.
vaporwave. I know.
There's future bass, which is that more like mainstream kind of appeal stuff, like the Chainsmokers, stuff like that.
Really?
There's drum and bass, which is like a kind of house music, I guess you could say almost. But yeah, and I'm like scratching the surface.
But
Oh,
dude,
that's
crap.
that's the main ones that people know and listen to. There's
One-
like so many. There's like glitch, like all different kinds of shit.
Damn.
Once you get talking about it, it makes me realize how much music I don't listen to.
Oh yeah,
Because my buddy Kevin and my buddy Brian, they make like this electronic music that I don't even know what to call it, honestly. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but sometimes it just sounds like construction, and it's cool. It's like, it's like
Yeah.
all these noises and
industrial. It's,
Do you know the band Program?
No.
no, is it like that?
It's like that.
All right, let's see.
There's
But no, but that's Brian is Program, the drummer of my band, is this guy.
Oh.
I don't know if they have. I think they have music out.
like, do you ever hear the rap group Injury Reserve?
No.
They make industrial hip hop, which I've heard people call it industrial, and I would categorize it as industrial hip hop. They're awesome, but like if you listen to their song "Jailbreak the Tesla," it's great. Like you'll know what I mean when you hear it. It's just
Yeah.
crazy stuff like that.
But yeah, I try to like listen to a lot of stuff. Like, I think the biggest thing for me, I don't know, it's hard. Like, I like to say that like what's important to me in music is that it's truthful, that it's like truthful to that person. Like you could tell they believe in the music that they're making and they like what they're making. You know what I mean?
Recognize real, boy.
But at the same time, it's fun to like just screw around and like not really care about it, you know, and just kind of do it for fun too.
Like that hip hop.
Yeah, like there's
pop
certain
song you were talking
like,
about doing,
yeah,
right?
like it's like when I listen to Post Malone, some of his songs, I'm like, oh, he doesn't care. Like he doesn't care, you know. And then I listen to him strum like guitar and like sing like a heartfelt kind of song. But like, I don't know. I think the most my friend Sam said this to me the other day. As long as you're making music that you want to make, like I think that's the important thing. Like I think the not cool thing is when like somebody like if you're on a label and they're trying to make you do something that you don't want to do.
Yeah, or like
that's messed
trying
up.
to appeal to a certain audience just for like popularity's sake.
But hey, if a label wants to sign me,
Still do it.
You heard
I'll
it.
sing some Taylor Swift. I don't care. I'll do whatever.
And I'm also
Maybe.
a huge Post Malone fan as well. I love
You know song Circles?
yeah, of course.
No, I don't know that one.
The bass line in that, like that's what I didn't know Post Malone at all, and then I heard the song Circles, and I heard the bass line in that, and I'm like, oh man, like me and my friends, we should try to make something like this. It would be
Yeah.
fun, you know.
That song's really awesome. My favorite album by him is his first, which is Stoney.
Yeah.
But
Is that the orange one?
Yeah.
Feeling Whitney.
Feeling Whitney is really great. I love No Option
I
because
feel
like,
apart.
I fall apart.
I
is
Fall
really good.
Apart.
Not feel apart.
I feel
He-
apart. That's
Yeah, but like you
clever
said,
wordplay.
he'll
I'm gonna write that
he'll
down.
make a song where he's like, I don't give a fuck, like No Option, which is a lot like that. But then he'll make a song like Up There, Up There.
Mm-hmm.
The song's like retching. Like I love that.
It's like
song.
Mac Miller too. He does like
Oh, his latest two albums.
man.
2009. yeah.
Good News is such a good song. The whole guitar thing.
Good news, good news,
and
good
it's all muted. Like every instrument is muted. So it's all like very like tasteful and
The lyricism too.
yeah, the lyrics are great. And Small Worlds, the beat on that is insane. Watching his Tiny Desk like really inspired me. Like
Oh,
to
yeah.
be like, oh, we could play like rap songs live.
Oh,
He
Mac
would
Miller.
like play guitar live too at his shows and shit like that. Like he's just such an incredible, talented musician.
Yeah, lately I made a TikTok recently and I've been trying to like play stuff like that to try to gain some traction. Like I've been playing like Juice World and Kid Leroy and
Dude, I love. That's one of the conversations that we were talking about earlier. How like you have these conversations with people about like music and you like bond. That's I think one of the reasons I said shout out to Antiheroes because the Kid Leroy and Juice World, like I've bonded with so many people over them. Like they're just such incredible.
I have a friend who runs a big like hip hop account on Instagram. So he like talks with guys at labels and stuff. And he's like, dude, he gave me this advice and he's like, make a TikTok and start just playing songs like Kid Laroi. Cause he's like, you know, you can pull that Kid Laroi thing off if you want, like, cause he heard some of my stuff. Some of my more recent stuff, like I sing louder and stuff, you know, as opposed to like the stuff on Priceless Junk. I'm kind of like whispering, you know, but like I think you might have saw that Kid Laroi video. Like I
think so.
My voice is
Probably.
kind of like cracking. It's like on the peak, you know, because I'm like trying to push it so hard. And Kid Laroi kind of does that. It's kind of like sad boy vibes. It's almost like it sounds like you're crying or something.
Yeah.
Like, but he's like, make a TikTok and try. And the Kid Laroi one got the most likes, but it's still, I didn't blow up. It didn't work, but I'm still trying.
Me and my musician buddies just say, man, TikTok is probably the key, and it just takes. It's TikTok is probably the key to blowing up.
Shout out to Sean Malay.
Yeah, man.
Gary V, they preach it, man. We got to get on it.
Yeah, man, my buddy, that kid who plays keys on the Kissing the Sky song.
Yeah.
That was really bad, but whatever. He
Interesting
blew up.
interpretation.
He's a really good artist, like drawing stuff. You might have seen his stuff, honestly, because he blew up on TikTok. He draws like rap artists or whoever, like pop artists. He'll write their names like a million times, like write it, and then it becomes like a portrait of them.
Oh,
I've seen
that
that.
is
It's probably him,
sick.
Jace Hall Art, and he blew up on TikTok, and now he like sells prints and stuff, and like, and he's making money now, and I'm like, oh, it's time to make a TikTok, Cole. like,
Yeah, you
gotta
on
work
the
this
train.
algorithm. Like,
yeah.
But it still hasn't worked. I don't think it will work, but I'm gonna keep putting stuff up there because I'm making music regardless. I might as well put it up, you know?
Right. It's just more people that will listen to it.
Yeah, like I like learning covers anyway. Like I'll learn a cover. I'm not like taking a million takes, but I'll just put my phone up, take a quick take, throw it up on TikTok. If somebody likes it, sweet, you know? If it happens to go viral, that would
Awesome.
be prime, but it hasn't
Come on,
happened
guys.
yet. But
Make Cole go viral on TikTok.
Yeah, follow
quit fucking
Cole
around.
Hallman Music. Cole Hallman Music on TikTok.
There you go.
Spam follow right now.
Something I wanted to talk about real quick also was writing. Do you do any writing outside of songwriting?
I like to. Sometimes I'll just write like thoughts, you know, but I used to a lot more. Like now I do most of my writing with my guitar.
Yeah.
Before I played guitar, or I knew how to play well, I would like write out it on a piece of paper, and I'm starting to get more back towards that. But and I'll also write like I don't know. I read a lot too, so I appreciate good writing. My mom's like an English teacher, so she's a great writer. Actually, one of the greatest things that I've ever received as a gift was my mom, throughout my whole life from like 0 to 18, kept this like journal and like wrote in it like a couple times a year just about me or like something that happened, and she gave it to me when I was 18.
That's incredible.
And it's so incredible, like looking back on it. There's actually this one entry I was thinking about bringing it to read it. It was when I got those like those like 2 guitar lessons, or like I was doing it for like a month or something, and I learned Sweet Child of Mine, but I couldn't even play it really. I could like barely play it. It was like and I was like, Mom, I'm good at guitar. And she was mad at my sister for some reason. Probably. She was mad for some reason. And she kind of like took it out of me. And she's like, no, Cole, you're not good at guitar.
Oh,
like,
God.
And I was like so upset. So that's like, I feel like it's one of the reasons I stopped playing guitar, because my mom was like, you're not good at guitar, Cole. But then she wrote in the journal, like, I'm so sorry I like flipped out on you like for like that. Like it wasn't your fault. Like,
Oh, man.
so it was just like funny reading that.
That's hilarious.
I was like in 5th grade, like.
So on the topic, it's funny that I wanted to come here eventually, but reading, like, because you're such a, like, your writing is so prominent, like, what are influences as far as authors, like, notable books that have a big impact on you?
I think one of the biggest books that changed my life is Tao Te Ching, which is like an Eastern philosophy book about like Taoism. And there's a lot, what's so cool about like Eastern philosophy is they have a lot of like wordplay and stuff like that. Like, you know, like trying to think of something specific, but anyway, like being in Hawaii also kind of like influenced that too, because there's a lot of like you feel like you're in a different country in Hawaii. There's a lot of like Eastern influence, you know, like from Asia and stuff like that.
You're
And
like a
yeah, like kind
big
of like
sense of spirituality, kind of.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
It's
really
more
strong culture too,
more
right?
of like a philosophy thing though, of like the whole thing with Taoism is about like taking the middle path in life and like being
What was
like
the book again?
Tao Te Ching, but it's spelled with like a T. So it's like T A O and then T E and then C H I N G. It's by Lao Tzu. He's just like
I know that name.
yeah, like you've seen
Yeah.
quotes of him on
Yeah.
Instagram. But yeah, like and like a lot of like Jack Johnson's kind of writing like is kind of like philosophical, you know, in a way. Like I've always been obsessed with like philosophy, like asking questions with no answers, kind of, you know what I think? Like and I like lyrics like that too, that are kind of like a mystery in certain ways. Like Bob Dylan has this great quote where like somebody's asking him about his song and like he can't really answer what it's about, and they're like, oh, what's about? And he's like, oh, and it never really mattered anyway what it's about. Like you know, the listener should be the interpreter
Like
of
the
the
end
song.
of Inception.
Yeah, like it's I love yeah, definitely.
So that book, any other that come to mind, or like specific writers?
I love Bukowski. Like I like a lot of poetry. Walt Whitman's good.
Got his book on my
Robert
bed.
Frost, yeah. As far as like books go, I've been reading Bruce Springsteen's book, which is cool. He writes like really well. Like he wrote the book. It's about his life. I also been reading a Bob Dylan book. They're both autobiographies. The Bob Dylan one is weird though. He was a wacky guy. Like half the time I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
He's just like he's out there, but he's interesting. Bruce is I feel like I know what's going on more. But I'm trying to think of anything else. My mom too. My mom's a good writer.
Oh really?
Yeah, like just like I said, she wrote that book, but she's just always been a good writer and
Does she have any like books out or anything like that?
Oh no, she's just a teacher, but she's a good writer for sure.
Tell her to write a book. I'll buy it.
I was thinking like she definitely could, like especially like about like raising my sister or something too. Raising all of us, but like, you know, especially Katie.
Seems like she did
Shout
a pretty
out
good
Ellie
job.
too. I gotta shout out my other sister. I talk so much about Katie.
Yeah.
I gotta shout out Ellie.
Shout outs to Ellie. So you named a couple authors, or you might have real quick, but didn't touch on really who was it again? Before you said the Bruce and Bob Dylan book, but there was an author I think that you mentioned.
Oh, like poet? I think it might have been
just
poet.
the poets, yeah.
Like yeah, like I don't know. I haven't gotten really too much into too many like prose books, you know, like not poetry. Like there's some books I like, but it's not really because I like the way the author writes. Maybe it's just because I like the plot of the story or something, you know? It's not like I read the author. I just read his one book and I like his one book.
Yeah.
Like I haven't oh wait, The Alchemist is a great book,
dude. That if we got to me talking about a book that like changed my life, like
that's a great book.
It didn't. I need to reread it because when I read it, I was like in like 8th grade or something like that, and I didn't fully like digest it. But the basic concepts that I got from it were like really influential on me.
Yeah, man, that's a great book. I think it's Paulo
Costello, right?
Or Coelho or something, but
Coelho.
It's pronounced in a certain way. I'm probably butchering it, but yeah, that was a good book. That book's just kind of about like, you know, that's kind of like a Zen kind of book too, or like spiritual kind of book, like trusting your path, stuff like that, you know, kind of similar to like Taoism, what I was talking about earlier with Lao Tzu and like Tao Te Ching. But I think that stuff's like that's why I love George Harrison so much, the Beatles.
Mhm.
Like he had so much like he like had so much Eastern philosophy. Like I feel like in his especially in his later writing and stuff. I think he was like a monk or something. I don't know. He like really appreciated the culture though.
So you talked a little bit about Taoism. Are you like very spiritual as a person, or into like Buddhism or any of those other
I guess so.
Eastern-
Yeah, like
meditation, anything like that?
you know what? That song I wrote, I'm always wrong, is kind of my philosophy that I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah,
It's pretty good
it's
philosophy.
a good one
yeah,
to have.
like
yeah,
I have no idea what's happening.
always.
One thing I
learning.
do know is that like it's I think it's good to avoid like extremes in life, kind of in most instances. Sometimes it's necessary, but like you know, to be kind of like zen and you know, understanding the balance of things, like knowing that there's going to be highs and going to be lows and just trying to like stay grounded. But I don't know. I think I believe in a higher power. Like there's times I'm like, whoa, I feel like I'm like manifesting my reality. But then other
Yeah.
times I'm like, wait, no, I'm not. What am I talking about? You know, I second guess myself all the
Yeah.
time. So I don't know if I would call it belief because it's a thin kind of belief. I feel like I have. The only thing I believe is that like, I guess in like, yeah, in balance, that there's balance in everything.
Hmm.
Yeah. I don't
Well
know.
said.
Yeah.
I definitely dabble. Do you meditate at all?
Yeah, I guess that's where I would say I am spiritual because that's considered like spiritual, like meditating. It's so helpful and I need to do it more because man, I've been so addicted to my phone lately. I need to chill with my
Mhm.
phone. Like I've been looking at my screen time and it's like, oh my God,
What
what
are
am
you-
I doing with my life?
What are you at?
Right now, I think I'm at like 4 hours or something bad.
I didn't even know you can. Is that a thing you can do? Is that an iPhone
Maybe
thing?
three.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm at 2 hours and 3 minutes today, which is pretty good. I've been at times where I was at
Well, it's-
6, 8.
You're doing
like-
work on there too. Like you're trying to set
Yeah,
this up, this
yeah.
business.
So
For
grand.
me, I'm just if it's work, I don't really care. But if it's like music or something, I don't care. But if I'm just mindlessly scrolling, it's like,
Yeah.
what am I doing?
I've definitely been there. Like at my like darker times in my life, it would be like just 6 hours of just like scrolling and
Meditating
looking at
though
shit.
is so important. Like it's so important to just try to quiet the mind, and it's hard at first because you're like thinking, like, oh, how am I supposed to stop my thoughts? Like me trying to stop my thoughts is just creating more thoughts. But you need to just like, you know, just listen. Like listen to your breath. Listen to the sounds in the room. Try to quiet the mind. And when your mind starts going elsewhere, don't be hard on yourself. Like, oh, I'm not doing this right. Just be like, up, but no, be aware that you just drifted and then bring yourself back to just like listening to your breath.
Mhm.
And yeah, breath. It's crazy. I feel like the role of breath has had in my life, like with surfing,
Surfing,
Singing,
singing, even
meditation,
guitar too, probably, right?
yeah, guitar
Not
a
as
little bit,
much.
but definitely singing. It's surfing and meditation. Like, and I've been working into my lyrics. I feel like a little bit more lately.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I feel like it. Do you feel? I mean, you probably do. That it like helps in a lot of other aspects of your life, like attention,
Yeah, definitely. But that's the weird thing
being
is
kind of
like,
like being present.
yeah, being present is so important. And like, I go through phases where sometimes I'm really present and then other times like I'm not, you know, and it's something that everyone needs to work on. But, that's where, I feel like I am a little spiritual in a way. Like I'll notice signs of things. Like I'm like, man, breath, surfing, singing, like meditation. And then I feel like that's a sign of something like but then a part of me is like, oh, it's just like coincidence. I don't know what to make of it. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
something will happen. Like for example, yesterday somebody told me to listen to Rex Orange County because they thought
Yeah.
I sounded like him, and I was like, all right, I'll listen to him. And I listen. I'm looking at his music account, and he was born the day before me, the year before me, and I was like, this is a sign. I don't know what this is, but it's a sign. And then like 5 minutes later, I'm like, is it a sign? I don't know. I'm so like I have like
on and off kind of.
Yeah, it feels like I have two, like, you know, the two people on my shoulders, like
Yeah,
like
the angel and devil.
Yeah, I could definitely relate because like a lot of weird things have been happening to me recently. Like it's specifically recently when I started like actually doing things and like being productive. Like I was at work yesterday. I'll tell two quick things. I was at work yesterday and I said, "Hey, I haven't seen this guy who's always at work, who always comes in and like plays in a while." And he walked in 2 minutes later. Like not even 2 minutes.
all right.
Well, I think
Straight
I know
up
who you're
though,
talking about.
if I believe in one like kind of magic thing or something, like, you know, higher power, it's Katie. She is insane. Like I'll think of something and she'll say it. It's like a daily thing, and it's insane. Like feel like she has a sixth sense or something, and like some I don't know. It's like and I also feel like that's kind of what that song is about too, Katie. Like you know, like struggling to say certain words. I feel like she's kind of like trapped in her body at times, certainly, because she seems so like wise in certain ways, but then other times she's like you know, some of the like behavior issues she has are just like crazy sometimes, but like it's they make for funny stories.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I guess like me and my mom talk about that all the time. We're like we were just talking about that in the car, and she'll remember stuff from when she was like a baby that she couldn't possibly know. Like we've never talked about it before, and she'll mention like a person that was only around when she was like a baby, like less than 1 year old. And we're like, how does she remember that? Like
Yeah.
she was an infant. Like she seems like out of this world sometimes. Maybe
No,
she's
for
an alien.
sure. I like me and you also do it a lot. I feel like part of it is like being on the same page as people, and like just people who you have in your life and like you're spending time with, you're more likely to like be on the same page as them. But like Joe will like not cut in and say something, but like take the next opportunity to say something in a conversation, and I'll be like, well, fuck, that was literally the next thing that I was gonna say. And like I have the perfect thing to go off that. Or like he'll say something like earlier he said something that reminded me of that other thing I had to say, and it was a perfect segue from what he said to the next thing. And it's like it's weird how you can kind of feel these like connections with people.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely like through music a lot.
Yeah, through music, through surfing too, for me.
I think
Any
just
creative outlet, really.
Yeah.
I was about to say even probably just through general life too, spending a lot of time with.
Yeah, it's just
Because
about,
I do that with my brother too. Sometimes I'll be thinking of something, and then my brother will like bring it up in the same day. I'll be like, "Yeah, I was just thinking about that." I feel like we're just kind of always, I don't know, thinking about something because we like a lot of the same things and stuff like that. But if one of us is like, say, you know, we got one of us got on a kick of like a musician or a band, and we'll go to the other, like I'll go to him or something like that and be like, hey, you want to check out this band, or do you remember this band, because we haven't listened to it in a while or anything. And then he'll I don't know, it just kind of keeps us parallel, I guess, which I think is part of the same theme of being on the same page.
yeah, I agree.
So I feel like that's probably a good place to wrap up. I don't know, I don't really have, I mean, I'm sure we could go on forever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't really have
Musicians, you could talk. We could
much
talk.
else.
We
Yeah.
like to hear ourselves speak. That's why we record it and release it.
Yeah, right? I listened to it like 10 times.
I'm gonna listen
have
to this
to
and be
edit it.
like, oh, I should have said this, or you know, my anxiety's gonna kick in. But no, I felt like I'm glad. I enjoyed the talk. Like once we got later into the talk, I actually like started enjoying it. In the beginning, I was like
Yeah.
nervous. I was like, what should I say?
Me too. I was like twitching at one point. But so to wrap it up, Cole Hallman, Instagram, TikTok,
Yeah.
Cole Hallman on Spotify and
Yeah, Cole Hallman on that's like H-A Hallman. Yeah, and Cole. All good, all good. And my Instagram is Chalman Instagram, so it's C Hallman Instagram.
I always thought it was like Chow Manstagram.
Yeah, you could say it like that
That's
too.
how I always said it. And then I was like, oh wait, it's a play on his name.
Yeah. Because when I was younger, I did like a C Hallman and then a bunch of numbers, and everyone's like, "Who is Chalman?" So then people started calling me Chalman.
Chalman. That could be your pop thing.
It could be.
Chalman.
Yeah, but I also I don't know. I want to that people know me as Chalman, so I want to keep it like low
okay,
It's a
key.
little
true.
too close for
Yeah.
comfort.
Okay.
Yeah, but I let me think. Oh yeah, TikTok. Hit me up there. Let's boost that algorithm. Cole Hallman music.
Hallman music.
Yeah, and yeah, I guess that's it. We're the Orange Blossoms. Follow that too, because we're really hoping to play a lot of shows next summer. I mean, even if it's outside or whatever, we just like playing and put out music eventually too. And yeah, follow my bandmates. They're awesome. They're better musicians than me. So
What are their things again?
you can find it under the Orange
You can
Blossoms,
find it.
but it's too much. It's too much to type out. You'll see them tagged in the
Yeah,
videos
figure
and
it
stuff.
out, you idiots.
Figure.
Do a little work for yourself. God.
But yeah, thanks for having me on. This
Thanks
was
Thanks
for
for
being
tight.
here.
coming on, man.
And then I think we have a little music for you guys. So we'll stop for a second and then try to figure out.
Messed up the last chord, but whatever.
Peace. Skirt.
Oh yeah.